Hello, hello, hello.
Good evening. Welcome to Sunday Night Satsang with myself, John Homewood.
And Michelle McLennan.
If you don't know by now.
I think you probably know by now.
Yeah, good evening and welcome. Welcome. I trust you've had a beautiful day today, a restful day. We had a lot of rain yesterday, and today has sort of been one of those in-between days.
It's been
Not,
quiet.
not raining, but not sunny, hey?
Quiet, rainy, kind of sort of misty. Foggy day.
Between day, yeah.
Mm.
But we did have a lot of rain, and we're really grateful for that. We really are. So how has your weekend been? Let us know in the comments box. We like to know who we are talking to and where you are watching from. And if this is the first time you are joining us for Satsang, well, welcome. Welcome.
Yeah, hi Claire, we see you here.
Yes.
Please let us know where you are and who you are so that we
How's it in
can
Zim?
say hi. Yeah.
Have you also had some rain there?
We've had a lot of rain here.
Yeah, a lot of rain here, yeah.
Just wait for a few more people to join, shall we? Yeah.
And as always, if you enjoy what we have to share, if you can press the like and the share button, it definitely does help it get out there. We're convinced that there's a sort of handbrake being put on these satsangs in that
These kinds of things, yeah.
they don't
Seems
seem
like
to
they
get
don't seem to get out.
they don't get that organic growth
No.
that they used to. Yeah.
They used to get more
Yeah.
in the earlier days.
In the earlier days, yes.
Plenty rain in Zim. Lovely.
Good. Excellent.
Awesome,
That's
Claire.
very pleasing, yeah. You know, when you go without rain for a while, you really are in awe of the blessing that rain is to the earth and to us who live on the earth. Yeah.
Where we're living now, the only rain source really is rain.
Only rain source is
in
rain.
terms of, the only water source is rain.
Only water source.
And so we're really conscious of it. It's amazing how it changes your relationship with water and rain.
It does, yeah.
You're really grateful every single time it rains.
Yeah.
Because it fills up the tanks.
Yeah, we're on a farm and there's no other source of water.
municipal
No
water.
river, no municipal, no dam water. It's just rainwater.
Yeah, so we really notice it. Hello, Shelley. Good to have you with us.
Hello, Shelley. Hi.
Yeah.
Yes, and as we said, hello, Diane. And as we said in the blurb for tonight, we are this can or may very well be our last Facebook satsang. We're looking at reformatting what we do online, and so Facebook. I mean, it's been pretty good to us over the last 3 years, but more and more people are not on Facebook anymore, and they don't really actively use Facebook. So we're looking at changing our format of how we present the satsangs, and secondly, on what media we put it out on, and we may switch over to YouTube. But this is very much your satsang as well as it is our satsang, so we would really value your input on that.
Yeah.
So at the moment we have satsang for an hour, which we have heard from some people. They say an hour is much too long, they've only got a 5-minute attention span. Well, I don't think we can do satsang for 5 minutes, but maybe we could cut it down to half an hour. And just let us know which part of the satsang is valuable to you, because we normally have like 3-4 sections. We have the opening, centering, meditation, and then Michelle normally introduces a bit of astrology. And then we have a theme for the week, which we look at, and then we have a closing visualization. So we just like to know from you what is beneficial for you. Is any of it beneficial to you?
Yeah.
And if it is, just let us know. And let us know any changes or improvements that you feel you would like to see. The time slot is another one that we could look at. So at the moment, it's obviously 7:30 until 8:30. But maybe, we can do it from 8 until 8:30 and just make it half an hour. But just let us know what you think. This is your satsang, and as much as it's ours, and we'd like your contribution. If you can.
And also, if the themes are relevant, if the themes are something that pulls you to this, draws you to the satsang, or if you prefer just to be a gathering and a time where we can get together and go quiet and go into presence and kind of realign for the week ahead. We come up with a sort of a theme for each week, but it's not necessary that has to be the case. So due to this year being a year of big change, as we've been saying, It's a time where we actually are all saying, okay, what works, what doesn't work, what can we adjust, how can we adjust it to the benefit of all, where's the value, is there no value, is there value? So that's what we're really doing with all of our online offerings. We're just looking at everything from a fresh, new perspective and saying, okay, where do we need to shift and change and grow?
If we do need to change, so we need your feedback as to what you would like. So thank you for the comments. I've been watching a few of them there. That's excellent. And just let us know. We need, a group discussion here. So if you can all just give your contribution, that's really, really great. And we will listen, and we will let you know how we're going to move forward with this. And
that's a good idea, Claire. Maybe an online poll. I think you can do it on Facebook. I have no idea how to, but we can find out. So we're really asking you as our community to contribute here in terms of what do you enjoy, what don't you enjoy, what's useful, what isn't useful. Would you show up even if there wasn't a theme? Would you be here? Is it the theme that pulls you, or is it just the community, us sharing with you, us gathering? What is it that brings you here? I think that's what we really want to know. So that we can grow the community and we can get more light out into the world. That's really the main focus.
We find that this type of, the words, for example, journey, journeys of awakening, and we talk a little bit about freedom, are words that seem to be pretty much strangled by the social media platforms. They're not words that get a lot of promotion, a lot of traction. So if we could ask you to press the like and the share button, and the comments help as well, and we love getting your hearts, obviously we do. So all of those help increase the reach of these satsangs. So
good.
You can contribute there. Great. All right. So let's start this evening with doing the non-doing, which is the centering in the present moment. So just settle back, and thank you for the hearts. Thank you for the hearts, and thank you for the comments. Thank you. Right, just gently settle back, and you might like to close your eyes. I say you don't have to. You can have a candle that you can focus on, which is always beautiful, but I like to close my eyes and just center my awareness inwards and become aware of the physical body. Closing the eyes heightens the other senses of the body, like the sense of touch and feeling, and closing our eyes we become more aware of, for example, the chair we're sitting on. Becoming aware of even the temperature of the room on our cheeks. Becoming aware of everything we can hear in this moment. These are portals out of the mind-made me, the mind-made story, the mind-made matrix, into something more real, more eternal. And the word I'm going to use for that, which is more real than the story in our head, it's a 4-letter word, a word called life. Because right now in this moment you can feel your own aliveness. You can feel the life as animating your fingers, your toes. The life that is beating our hearts. The life that enables us to listen, to hear right now. That's not a function of our thinking mind. In fact, when our mind goes quiet, very, very quiet and still, we hear even better. When we're able to slow the thoughts down and enter the space between our thoughts, we become more aware of the aliveness in the body. The sensations of touch get heightened. This is our direct connection with this intelligence that transcends time, physical form. It inhabits the physical form, but it transcends the physical form. The formless. Life is formless. dancing with the play of form. Let's now become aware of another beautiful portal into stillness, into the direct connection with life, and that's to become aware of the gift of life, which is the breath of life. And take a very deep breath in, drawing the air right the way down as if it's going into your toes, drawing it right the way down the body, and then just take a very long, relaxing sigh out, and just release any troubles, any concerns that you have been holding. Just let it go with the out-breath. Take another fresh in-breath. Take it with gratitude for this beautiful gift of the breath. Take it deep into the body, and then just breathe out all that no longer serves you in this moment. Just let it go. You don't need it right now. Take a third very deep breath in, blowing your tummy up like a big ball, drawing the diaphragm down, drawing the air into your body. And then make the out-breath twice as long now as the in-breath. Really release all that no longer serves you in this moment. And as you breathe out, just drop your awareness deeper into presence, into alignment with life, one with life. And become aware of the stillness that is presence. We have a word called presence, and we have a word called stillness, and we have a word called life. And yet they're all pointing towards the same no-thingness. Stillness is not a thing. Life is not a thing. Presence is not a thing. Yes, they flow into form, but they're not form themselves. They animate form. They enliven form, but they transcend form. They're here before form. They're here after form. And another word that we can ponder in this moment and bring into our awareness is the word being. Being. Being as one with life. Being as one with presence. Being as stillness. When you're just being, there's a stillness within you that you become aligned with. You become merged into. And you can't go and find or seek or understand being or life or stillness or presence. They're not to be found or understood. They're just to be realized. They're to be stepped back into alignment with. And the only thing that ever can be out of alignment with it is our attention. We focus on that which is outside of being, that which is outside of alignment with presence. And when we do, we suffer. We suffer stress and worry and anxiety and disconnection. And when we breathe out and we release the need for anything other than what is, we realign ourselves with life. We lean into life. The life that we are. And it's beautiful. It's sacred. It's divine. It is healing. And it is abundant. And we are so blessed to be here tonight and to be merged in this sense of oneness with all life. The most sacred place in all of creation is here and now. Everything that you have sought in the deepest recesses of your heart is to be found in the stillness of presence. And presence yearns for our acceptance, for our attention, for our homecoming. Now we take another very deep breath in. Beautiful deep breath in. And a long breath out. And giving thanks just for this moment, we gently open our eyes, noticing how we feel in this moment. Just after a few minutes of centering ourselves back into alignment with life, we find ourselves more peaceful, more still, more quiet, more alive, and definitely more heart-centered. So let us know how that was for you.
Hi everybody that joined during that. Thanks
Hello
for
everyone.
your comments.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. If you missed it in the beginning, we're basically just saying that we might be changing the format of this, but you can go back to the beginning and watch. We won't repeat ourselves. But if you have any suggestions for future satsangs, then we're very open to what your requirements are, because you're our community.
Thank you for the hearts.
Thank you for the hearts. Thanks,
Yeah.
Alex.
Thank you.
Okay, so tonight we're going to talk about leaning into life.
Leaning into life, that's a strange
Yeah.
topic.
Yes.
Guess you chose it.
Why? So it can be quite tricky to come up with a different subject every week, I must just tell you.
Leaning into life is good, I like
Yeah.
it.
But what I was sort of, how that came to be there was that it seems that there are and will be many twists and turns this life, but this year and for the next couple of years. I think that maybe some of us have seen that already. I know, somebody that I know fell and broke her arm and sprained her other one. There's a lot of change that's happened already this year for people, where they've thought, okay, this is what I'm going to do, and no, you're not going to do that, you're going to do that. So it seems like I got the image of twists and turns in a road, those roads that twist and turn all the way through. And if we resist the changes, you can basically go plowing straight ahead. So you need to, if you're on a bike or if you're on a bicycle, if there's a corner and a curve, you need to actually move into it. You need to lean into the change, into the curve, into into those twists and turns, to actually lean into it rather than resist it. Because a lot of the time we resist it and say, why has this happened? It shouldn't have happened. And that's kind of going straight when the road's curving. So I just see that this is, what's that? Oops, glasses need to be before you. So funny, Helen. I just see this as a time, especially, energetically and astrologically, a time where we're looking at everything. And we're saying, okay, what works, what doesn't work? What are our patterns? What are our belief systems? What are the things we repeat on a daily basis? Are they still serving us? Is the way we're doing things still serving us? So we're following that wisdom and that guidance and saying, what does work?
Yeah, so leaning into life, leaning into life.
Yeah.
Instead of resisting life, fighting life, trying to direct life, rather listen to the quiet stillness and allow life to guide us. Last night we watched a very old film called August Rush. August Rush.
It's one of my favourite ever.
Yeah, and it was weird because we had some friends staying with us for a couple of days, and we were in the car and we were just discussing what's our favourite movies, and Michelle just came out with this August Rush. And funny enough, I had that very film, out on a bureau, just sitting there, which I had pulled out a few days earlier, which Michelle hadn't seen. And it's also one of my favourite films. So we sat and we pulled it out and we watched it last night.
Yeah, if you haven't watched it.
And August Rush is about a little orphan boy who is able to be still enough to listen to the flow of music in life, in the wind, in everything around him. and he has a genius for composition and for composing music, and it's a beautiful little love story, but it's based on leaning into life, allowing life to lead you instead of resisting, instead of always trying to direct life. Become the directed by life.
Like if someone's talking to you and they're speaking quite softly, you need to lean in. And leaning in is kind of I'm here, I'm listening, I'm present, I'm here, I'm hearing you, I'm seeing you, leaning in. And so it was just so obvious, that movie. It was so beautiful that it's a lovely story. I won't tell you the whole story in case you watch it, but it was sort of like about the harmonics converging. It was almost, if you're listening and you sort of have an intention, then you're going to be drawing things, situations, people, different, those kind of things that harmonize with that intention into your awareness. And if you're resisting life, then you're going to be drawing that into your awareness, is resistance and separation. So it's kind of, how can we lean in further? How can we lean into life? How can we lean into ourselves? It's like a gentleness. It's an interest. It's we all love to talk and we all love to share our stories, but we don't like to share a story with someone that's leaning back with their arms folded. We want to share our story with someone who's engaged and who's looking at us and who's present, who's able to respond if there's a response needed. So it's full presence to actually be able to lean in.
Yeah.
And if you're leaning in, then you're leaning into life, which means for me that you're tuning in. If you go back to the sound thing and the music thing, you're tuning into that frequency.
And Robin Williams is in the film, and he makes a point of saying that this music is there for everyone, but very few are prepared to listen. Very few are prepared to be quiet enough inside to listen to the music of life, to what life is guiding or communicating to us. And life doesn't speak to us in words. It guides us in a far more subtle sense, a sense of inner knowing, of quietness, of yesness. And you have to lean into that to truly hear what life is saying to us. And most people are making far too much noise in their head, and they're far too focused on the past and on the future to hear what life presence is actually whispering in this very moment, here and now.
And I think a lot of the time we ask for guidance, and then we just carry on with the noise in our head, and we don't listen to the guidance. And you've got to be still to get guidance. And very often guidance can come over and over and over, and if you're not listening, you're not going to hear it. And then when you consider afterwards, you think, yeah, but this person said that, and this person said this, and this person said that, all said the same thing. We ask for guidance. There's been guidance along the way, but have we been listening? So it's leaning in, it's listening, it's leaning into the flow of life as well as the changes, because we can't stop the change. This change is happening. This shift is happening. And I think that the things that we may have thought we wanted might not happen the way we thought they wanted this year. This is what I'm picking up from people and from my own life. It's, okay, that's not going to happen the way we thought. Okay, so we've got to lean into this change now. How do we go with this change without driving over the cliff?
Yeah, that old saying, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. And it's going to become more and more obvious that life, the divine, whatever you want to call it, has plans far bigger than the egoic mind, than the thinking mind. And if you really want to listen to life, one has to step out of mind. It's not the mind that is able to listen to life. The mind is almost anti-life to a certain respect, because every single thought we think takes us away from the stillness. Every thought we think is a movement away from presence. So the thinking process isn't going to hear that still whisper that life has. only your presence, only your beingness is able to hear life. Hence, leaning into life. And we've already alluded to it in what we've said already, but what is this life that we are speaking about? A lot of people, most people, myself included in my old part of my life, believed that life was something that I had. It was also something that I had to improve. And I had to work very hard at improving this thing called life. And at the same time, I was always in danger of losing this thing called life. Someone could take it from me. And one of the biggest realizations of my life is to realize that I'm not separate from life. There's not life and me. That's the dualistic way of seeing reality. But there is the non-dual. The non-dual is when you come back to your true essence, which is life, which is being, which is presence, and realize there's no separation. You and life are one. You, in fact, are life. This intelligence that we're speaking of tonight, that is there to guide us through all this change, is the real essence of you. And what is it guiding, though? It's guiding that essence of you that's split off from alignment and is out of alignment. And our journey, which is going to take us very safely through all these changes, is just a realignment with reality, with presence, with your true essence. This is a journey back to a place that you never left. It's a journey without distance. And it's a remembering who and what we really are. And only when we still our mind can we truly experience directly, not through understanding, not through a conceptual knowledge, but through direct experience, who and what we are. We, beyond our names, beyond our achievements, beyond our failures, beyond our hopes and beyond our dreams, there is this essence of life, of presence, of being. And it's to honor that with our listening, with our attention, with our full beingness. That is leaning into life.
I loved what you said there about the remembering, because if you look at the word remember, it's remember. So it means that there are different parts and there's a separation that's happened. And remembering is bringing those different parts together. So it's basically just remembering that we are whole and complete. We are life. We're not these separate, limited, weak people only. We have life coursing through our beings all the time. It's just tuning into that, and that motion of actually bringing it all together is wholeness. That's who we really are. And then you've remembered who you are. You've actually brought the disparate parts of yourself, which is the mind, which says, yeah, but there's this, and that happened when you were 2, and then what happens when you're 85, and that's the dismembership. That's where we split apart. So it's bringing it back together. And you can only do that here. You can only do that now. You can only do that in this moment. You can't do it tomorrow. You can't do it next week. And as long as you, as busy as your mind is, that's going to take you further away from it, which is probably why most of you are here, because this is a chance for us to all be together in the moment. That's what we're doing here. We're not doing anything, actually. We're just being here together. The mind will usually say, no, but what's there at the end of it? We're always trying to see where we're going. Where's it going to end? What's the outcome going to be? And this is not this process. So this is an opening to this, and it's a leaning into this. It's leaning into life. It's saying, okay, I'm fully present with life. And okay, so life's taking a turn that I didn't expect. Okay, can I lean into this turn and see what's here? And like this little guy, August Rush, listen carefully to what's here now. Because he would never have been able to hear that if he hadn't had the presence because everybody else was telling him that he was mad. He was crazy, and he had such a strong conviction that what he knew to be true was true, that he never ever let that go, and that led him to the next thing and the next thing. It's a magical story and movie, and it's so full of meaning.
August Rush is a little orphan boy.
Incredible.
And just to say that you can't lean into life tomorrow. You can't lean into life yesterday. You can only lean into life now. You can only listen to life now. You can't listen yesterday and you can't listen tomorrow. You can only listen now, right here, right now in this moment.
And it's like when you're driving on a road and there's a big bend coming up. You can't think, well, I'm going to take the bend just now. It's like, I'm taking it now. I'm turning now. I'm leaning into that turn now, so that I'm actually going with it. I'm going with the road. I'm going through with the road of life. I'm not going to try and go off and branch off that road. So it's just to see what life's presenting all of us at this time. Because if there's shifts happening and changes happening, then they need to happen.
Because they are. Because they are. And when you start to trust the intelligence of life, you know that what is happening is meant to be here. And there's a higher purpose for this in this moment. And remember, I said earlier about the misperceptions of life, and the one which I spoke briefly about is the perception that I have it and I can lose it. And that is completely not true. That's the dualistic way of seeing it, that I and life are separate. And that's one misperception that I believe needs to be healed at this time. And the other misperception, which I mentioned briefly, was that I must improve my life. The purpose of coming to the earth is to improve my life. Well, if you don't have a life, you can hardly improve it if you are life. And if life and stillness are one, you can't improve stillness. Stillness is always still. It's perfect. You can't get more stillness. It's just stillness. And stillness, life, being, presence, and the I amness, who you really are, all one and the same. They're different signposts, but they're all pointing us back to the same place that is a no place. They're always pointing us back to the thing that we are, that is a no thingness. You don't have a life, you are life. And the life that you are cannot be improved. Now take a deep breath in. Just all of you, take a very deep breath in. And as you breathe out, just say, I am enough in this moment. And just see what a relief it is. I am. The I am is enough in this moment. Letting go of the need to strive for something other than what is already here relieves us of stress. It doesn't mean that we stop doing in the world. We can become more effective doers if we take into our doingness this stillness, this essence of life, this essence of being, in the awareness of the fullness of this life. And it doesn't mean that we lose the ability to co-create the physical circumstances that we find ourselves. It's very important at this time to reawaken the power that we have within us. We've spoken many times about this power that we have within us to co-create physical circumstances. But do not look for physical circumstance to change so that you can find life, so that you can find peace, so that you can find joy or love. Rather find it here in this moment. Find the stillness now. Don't wait for the neighbor's dog to stop barking so that you can find stillness. It's underneath the barking is the stillness. Don't wait for situations and circumstances to change so that you can find the joy. The joy is already here, underneath the situations and circumstances that you find yourself in.
Yeah.
Stop the seeking, the looking, the needing, the searching. Stop and find what is already here. That's leaning into life. It's leaning into presence, leaning into beingness. call off the search, and you'll find that what you have really been searching for is already here, just hidden from your awareness by the preferential, dualistic, seeking mind.
Yeah, like a lot of the time, you know, when you ask somebody, who are you and what do you want? Ask yourself that. What do you want? What do you really want? And very often you'll find that you'll say things like, I want more abundance, money-wise, or I want a home, or I want a partner, or I want a new job, or... Okay, so assuming that you find that, how would you feel in that moment? As you, okay, I've realized the dream. I've got the house, I've got the partner, I've got the whatever it is. Okay, how do you feel? And that's what you're actually after. So then, if you're holding that as your vibration, as your frequency, it matters not whether you actually get the house, the car, the job, the dog. It doesn't matter, because you already have it.
You already have that feeling.
You already have the feeling, and that's the feeling is what motivates us to go and achieve what we need to achieve. You just look at it. There's always a feeling. I want to go on holiday because... Why? How will you feel on holiday?
I want to feel relaxed.
Exactly. So there it is. So you want to feel relaxed. So that's what you need to hold within your energy field. And that is what we're realizing now at this time in our consciousness, in our history, in our evolution, is we are realizing the power of that. Slowly, because it's been very mind oriented and very, as John would say, horizontal plane oriented. From day one, we are conditioned to say, where are you going? How are you going to get there? What are you doing for a living? What's your 5-year plan? What's your 10-year plan? Have you got enough money in the bank? We're conditioned to see that as success and happiness. I'll be happy when? I'll be able to relax when? Okay, so how's that working? It doesn't work, because when's never going to happen. It can't happen. It's an illusion. There is no when. There is no tomorrow. There is no next year. So what vibration, what do you want? And I think for me, that this goes beyond just our physical, personal, our individual wants. We're at a tipping point in our humanity. What do you want for humanity? What do you want for your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, even if you're not going to be around? What do you want? What kind of life do you want for them? Do you want them to be free? Do you want them to live on a planet that's got fresh air and beautiful flowing water and forests and community and nature? And do you want that? What else do you want? How? Why? So those are the questions that we're asking, because that's good. We are crafting our future reality for generations to come. Now, in this moment, we are co-creating from where we're at.
Yeah, we spoke about frequency.
Yeah.
We're co-creating
From
with frequency. That's what we co-create. And the world that we currently experience is a function of our past frequency, of our past thoughts, of our past feelings. The world we're experiencing now is a co-creation of the group mind, of the group energy that we put out. And if we would like to experience a world that Michelle described there for our children and our grandchildren, a world of cooperation and caring and connection with the real essence of life and nature, then let's start being it now. Let's start creating that. Let's lean into that future feeling now, and end the waiting, end the searching for other situations outside of ourselves. We've been programmed to be disconnected from the power within us. We have been taught that the power is outside us. It's in our teachers, it's in our religious leaders, it's in our politicians, it's in the armies. No, it isn't. The real power is within us. The power of feeling. And if it is peace, and if it is joy, and if it is love, and if it is connection that you want, feel it. Feel it now. And how do we do that? We lean into life. We lean into the the fullness of life in this moment through acceptance and embracing the knowledge of the intelligence of life that beats your heart, that enables you to see and to walk and to hold and to speak. You don't know how to do any of those things. That's an intelligence within you called life. And when you trust that and you lean into that, you will be guided to the next doing this and the next doing this. It will come through you instead of you reaching for it on the outside. And life will cease to be a struggle and will become a joyful, flowing dance of abundance. That's the true nature of what life is meant to be. We've been programmed with this scarcity consciousness, and that's nonsense. The true nature of life, which is who you are, is abundant. Life is abundant. And it's only the mind that separates us from that knowingness and from trusting that information, that true fullness of life.
Yeah, I just see Jan's comment there. Yeah, I recognize that my striving is stopping me from being truly present. What I would like to suggest is that true presence is true presence. So if you're truly present, if any of us are truly present, there is no striving. It's the opposite way around for me. If you're present, there is no striving. If you're striving, it means that you're not present. That's all. That's all. There's no judgment. It's just I'm not present because I'm striving. I've gone into striving seeking mode, thinking that something or somebody is going to save this or make me feel better, which means that you're not present. So you can't actually try to be more present. You can just notice it when you're not being present. There's no trying, because trying in itself, in and of itself, trying is a striving. Because if you try to do something, you can't do it. You try and pick up a pen. Most people, when I say that, they pick up the pen. No, that's not trying. That's picking up the pen. Try and pick up the pen. And feel the energy of that trying to pick up the pen. I'm trying to be present. There's a struggle in it. And presence isn't a struggle. Because presence is your essence. So when you're in presence, you're not striving. You're not seeking. You're not looking for anything outside of you in that moment. And then in another moment you notice, I've gone into striving. Sure, that's okay. I've gone into striving. I can bring myself back. So it's just a noticing.
And it doesn't mean that you don't have a perception of time. It doesn't mean that you can't remember your past, and it doesn't mean that you can't envisage your future, that you can't have goals and set schedules for your life. You can, as long as you stand on a ground more real than future. If you stand on the ground of presence, of life, of fullness in this moment, then you can hold your goals lightly, because whether they manifest or whether whether life has another plan for you, it doesn't matter. It matters not what you achieve in life. It matters how you achieve or how you experience this moment. Are you successful in this moment? Or are you postponing your success to some future, some imagined future? Be successful now. And what is success? But to be actually aligned with the life that you are, with the joy you are. And we all come to life, to this world with a life purpose, a primary purpose and a secondary purpose. Our primary purpose is all the same. It's to realize who and what we really are. That's the purpose. That's the wholeness that Michelle was speaking about earlier. To remember, to come back to wholeness. And wholeness is love. That's all of our life purposes. If you want to know what your primary life purpose is, to come back to the true essence of who and what you are, which is love, which is life. Secondary life purpose, I believe, will unfold naturally. And your secondary life purpose is whatever else you're doing right now. If you're a mother, well, that's your secondary life purpose right now. That's going to change. If you're a baker, well, that's your secondary purpose right now. And that's going to change. Your secondary purpose is always changing. Your primary purpose is never changing. So come back to love. How can I love more deeply in this present moment? By letting go of my attachment to time, to that which is in my head rather than that which is real in this moment. Love is a sense of oneness with the isness of life. That's what love is. The feeling of connection in this moment, not some future imagined moment, but now in this moment. That's our sacred That's our soul. That's our only purpose on this earth, to come back to the realization of love. And as we realize it individually, we realize it collectively, because our individual awakening influences all the other aspects of ourselves, which are the other 8 billion human beings on earth. They're all aspects of ourselves. And as we awaken, we make it easier for those around us to awaken.
No, it's actually a gentle process. It's not a judgmental process. It's not a striving process. So if all of us can just imagine just stopping the struggle, just stopping it. So as soon as you go into the struggle, as soon as you go into the striving, as soon as you go into the seeking, you just stop right there. And you just open more to life. You lean into life. You say, life's giving us this. Okay. Right. Let's dance with this one. And it might be a foxtrot, or it might be a tango. It might be a hip-hop dance, because some of them are kind of crazy. But let's see how this unfolds. It's a much easier way of dealing with life than being kind of almost scared that when's the other shoe going to drop? Sort of walking on eggshells in terms of, what if I mess up, and what if I make the wrong decision? What if you can't make the wrong decision? What if there is no such thing as a wrong decision? That you're here because you need to be here. That our purpose right now, John and my purpose right now, is to look at this funny little phone and speak to some people on this funny platform called Facebook right now. That's our purpose. And your purpose, if you're listening, is to be listening. That's it. And after this, your purpose might be to go make some tea and then to go to sleep. What if we were to live our lives like that? Because that's being present. That's leaning into life. It's like intimate with life. That's what I'm sort of seeing it. I want to become more intimate with life. I want to watch that leaf falling, and I want to notice that leaf. And notice the look in somebody's eye, and see if I can lean into it, see if I can be softer with it. That's what this shift is about.
Yeah.
It's not about being harder on yourself and judging yourself more and shaming yourself more. It's not about that. It's about loving more. And that includes yourself.
And yourself is life. To recognize it, to love life more. And don't we yearn to dance with that which we love? Dance with life. Dance with presence. And dancing isn't an outcome-based activity. It's the enjoyment of the step you're taking now. Treat life as a dance. And enjoy the isness of just this step without needing it to take you somewhere else on the dance floor. That's not the purpose.
Well, it would be a horrible dance if you were actually trying to get to the other side of the dance floor. You'd be stepping on each other's toes, and you'd be mowing into each other, and you wouldn't enjoy the dance. You wouldn't be listening to the music. You would just be trying to get across the dance floor. Whereas a dance is like, right, you're immersed. You're immersed. If you're dancing with someone else, you're immersed in that other person's energy, and you're moving together. And the other person turns, and you sense the turn, and you turn with the other person. If you've got your own mission and the other person's got his own mission, you're not going to be dancing. You're going to be having a tug of war on the dance floor. And that's what's happening in our communities, in our world. There's a tug of war. People are pulling in opposite directions. And this change in evolutionary consciousness, the shift in consciousness, is to come back together and to actually move as one. Because we are one, as one humanity, not as separate. Oh, you can't speak to me because you're a different X, Y, Z. No, rubbish. We're all connected.
Yeah, and just to say, because I know some of you are wondering about this, it's not that you can't use your mind. Your mind is an incredible tool. It's a preferential, judgmental tool. It's able to define up from down, cold from hot, etc. But it's meant to be used and not meant to use you. And I've said this many times before, most people don't even have a mind. The mind has them. In fact, they have no realization of self other than what the mind tells them they are. And that is a disconnection from life, because you have time on the one side and time and mind are one, and then you have presence, life, on the other. Life is non-dual, it's the all that is. And mind is about separation. I have a mind separate to your mind. I have a personality separate to your personality. My gender is different to your gender, for example. And we have that sense of separation. And that all comes from the thinking mind. Nothing wrong with it. It's great. It's part of the earthly experience. But we're not meant to live in that mind. We're meant to have the mind, use the mind for strategy, for planning, but you don't use it. You don't need it 95% of the time. You're able to step out of that and be in presence.
Yeah.
And that's awakening. It's to realize that we have a choice, and the choice is to step out of the matrix and to lead into life, to be one with life, and to live from that space, and then use your mind from that space to plan and strategize, but don't let the mind use you.
Not to, for a minute, believe that you are the mind. So you have a thought and you think that's you. It's not.
Something you have.
It's a voice in the head that's chattering away like a roommate. And it's just to see it like that, oh yeah, there goes my roommate. It's a loud, noisy roommate. Okay, I'm not going to listen to that roommate right now. I'm going to actually shut the door. It's like that. It's just, I'm just going to tune that out, because it's not actually helpful. Because there's usually a couple up there in the attic, a couple of roommates. It's not just one. And they're fighting each other. You should do this, but what if I did that? No, maybe if you did that, but then what would happen then? You got a whole conversation going, and none of it's you. So it's just to realize that that isn't who we are. Our thoughts do not define who we are. Our thoughts are not us.
Underneath the thoughts, underneath all the chattering going on in your head, is stillness.
Yeah.
That stillness is you. And how do I know that? Well, your thoughts come and go, but you don't. Underneath the thoughts, if your thoughts all subside, you're still there. You're still there. You are that stillness. You don't have to strive to find it. You don't have to improve it. You are that stillness. And that stillness is there irrespective of anything that your mind is telling you in this moment. And that's leading into life, is to trust that rather than the judgmental mind. You pulled some cards there.
I have. I'm going to take one for the meditation. These ones.
Okay. Must I take one?
You take one. Why don't you take one?
Okay.
Anyway. There we go.
Okay, let me pull a card. I'll pull that card. Blue. Blue's my favorite colour. That's why I pulled it. What does it say? Yeah, that's perfect. That's beautiful. I won't tell you what it is. Michelle will weave it into her meditation now, and then I'll let you know what it is afterwards.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Oh,
Thank you tonight, and just to ask you, if you have enjoyed what we have shared tonight, if you can, just click the like button and share this. It really does help grow the audience. Thank you.
Yeah, and our inner space community. Oh, we've still got our Journey to Freedom. We're still in our first week, so if you haven't joined and you still want to, you can. There's still time. So journeysofawakening.com. I would suggest that everybody, if you have not joined our Journeys of Awakening WhatsApp group, please do that. We'll put it in the link below. But you really need to join, because we said in the beginning of this satsang that we might be changing formats. And so we're going to be notifying people on our WhatsApp group, because not a lot of people see our posts on Facebook. So we can't rely on that. So please just join the WhatsApp group, and that's where we just post our notifications for all our stuff.
Yeah.
And it's not a chattery group, it's just a broadcast group. And also Inner Space continues, and this month we're going to be looking at comfort zones and where we get stuck and what we need to release. So it's going to be a really strong,
Inner Space is our
powerful
monthly support platform, online platform
Yeah.
as well.
It's all
And
on
just-
our website.
Yeah, and just to go back to what we said right in the beginning, we're just reassessing, like we should all do from time to time, what we do and how we present. So we are looking at the satsangs and looking at the format and maybe changing the time slot or
platform.
So we need your input. We're very open. We want your contribution to that and the questions we asked in the beginning. So if you haven't answered those yet in the comments, please let us have your feedback on that.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah. You can lead us out with a guided visualization.
Just a short one. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Let's just settle in. If you're not settled in already, and take a beautiful deep breath in, and then a releasing breath out. Take a breath in for, say, 4 counts, all the way in, and then release the breath for 6 counts. So breathe out longer than you breathe in. Breathing in for 4, and breathing all the air out for 6, and releasing your shoulders, allowing your hands to soften wherever they may be. Sending a wave of beautiful, soft light running all the way through your head, right down through your body, into your feet, just relaxing and softening. Releasing anything that you don't need in this moment through your feet. Just allowing yourself to be fully present. To drop in to a very soft, silent place. Just imagine a feather drifting through the air, very gently drifting through the air, and then very gently landing on a perfectly calm pool of water. Feel that. Feel and then just allow yourself to float. To just be carried a little bit by the current, by the flow. No effort. Just floating. Just here, right now. No resistance. Fully present for whatever might come. Allow this peace to sink deep into your being. Allow this peace to radiate through you. With each out-breath, just soften more and release more. And be here now. You might listen to the sounds in your environment. Listen really carefully. Now listen even more carefully to the sound of your own breath. Maybe to the sound of your own heartbeat. Feel this peace. The affirmation for tonight is I let go of emotional resistance and allow life to flow as it is. I let go of emotional resistance and allow life to flow as it is. And feel that. Feel that feather just drifting on the surface of a pond or a lake. Just allowing with no resistance, fully present. And now staying in this peaceful place, take a beautiful deep breath in and out. And that's it for the night. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. And how perfect is that affirmation?
Good one.
I let go of emotional resistance and allow life to flow as it is. And this wasn't chosen beforehand. It was just randomly picked out of the pack.
Yeah.
So it's perfect. I'll photograph it and put it up on the Facebook page. Thank you for being with us tonight. If you enjoyed tonight, please press the share button.
It really helps. Please do that.
And we look forward to catching up with you next week. But we'll just let you know what the format, if there's going to be a change or whatever. Quite a number of you have said that the current format is working for you. But if anyone has some suggestions or comments, please add them, because we do like to improve if we can.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Love you all.
Have a good week.